we found grades that are 10 to 20 times higher. So really meaningful intercepts, circa 20 meters at 10.5% zinc, 55 meters at 4.5% zinc. That's 10 to 20 times higher grade than we have in our feasibility study. So there's meaningful mine life extension that we're going to continue to drill through the Mung deposit, the ATO 1 and 2 deposits, and we'll continue to incorporate that into our mine plan.
Hello to viewers tuning in to Assay TV. Today, we're featuring an update from Steppe Gold, Mongolia's premier precious metals producing company. And I'm very pleased to be catching up once again with Aneel Waraich, Executive Vice President and Director of Steppe Gold. Aneel, it's great to speak with you again. Welcome.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, let's take a look at the production aspects of your overall business. And, how did the ATO Gold Mine end 2022 after raising and doubling the resource many times? It was on a good trajectory. Can you share some insight in how that's gone and then what the plans are for phase 2?
Absolutely. So 2022 was a great year for us. We restarted production in March of 2022 without any hiccups, without any stops. Supply chain issues were addressed. Safe to say that we have over 6 months of supply on an ongoing basis of reagents. So we built up that inventory on site. We produced just around 33,000 ounces between that restart in March. So basically about 9 months of production, we produced about 33,000 ounces in 2022 at just over $800 all-in cost, give or take. So very robust production, obviously a high margin oxide mine that will produce for the next 2 years. So going forward for this year and next, we'll produce about 45 to 50,000 ounces at about $800 all in cost. So that's 2 more years of the oxide mine at a robust, more than $1,000 margin at today's pricing. So it's a nice little cash flow machine that funds the growth of our company through exploration and of course our expansion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the gold price movements this year slightly, looking very positive in terms of bolstering that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the beauty of our business is we don't have to pay for that upside on the commodity price, right? It's just gravy for us. We don't rely on a higher gold price, but certainly the circa $300 move over the last few months is great for sentiment, great for our margin. And I think this year is going to be finally the year where you'll see more generalists and actual mining focused investors get back into the gold game.
Yeah, certainly. So just on the production, what's the top of the agenda in terms of increasing production there this term?
Yeah, so our goal is over the next 2 years, we'll continue construction on our phase 2 expansion. So the oxide mine is from surface down about 40 meters, 3 shallow open pits, and the phase 2 will be 4 deposits. So ATO 1, 2, and 4, as well as the Mung deposit, will be about an open pit to about 300 meters down for the first decade, and we'll increase our production to about we'll basically double it. So we'll go to about over 100,000 ounces. Right now, the model, the 105,000 ounces for the first 5 years for phase 2. So right now we have 10.5 years of mine life at circa 100,000 ounces per annum at similar cost structure, $850 all in cost. So we're just wrapping up financing packages, debt, and other non-dilutive instruments to fund the expansion. We already built a crusher for phase 2 last year. It's 1,000 ton per hour fixed crushing circuit that's already installed. So we are chipping away at phase 2, and this year and next will be the big construction and completion of that phase 2 expansion. So 2025 will be 100,000 plus ounce producer with a high margin.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. And of course, while that's all going on, then you're expanding the resource at Mungo and also within your exploration programs as well. Could you tell us about how much sort of drilling and development's going on there, what that campaign entails at Mung and of course at Udum Kundi as well afterwards?
Sure. So actually at the ATO mining license, where there's ATO 1, 2, 4, and the Mung deposit, just a few hundred meters.
Yeah.
We will probably drill another 10 to 15,000 meters this year. So last year and the year before, we drilled ATO 1 and 2 for the first time ever and we made significant extensions and new discoveries on the base metal side. So ATO 1 and 2 have precious metals and base metals already incorporated in the feasibility study, but we found grades that are 10 to 20 times higher. So really meaningful intercepts, circa 20 meters at 10.5% zinc, 55 meters at 4.5% zinc. That's 10 to 20 times higher grade than we have in our feasibility study. So there's meaningful mine life extension that we're going to continue to drill through the Mung deposit, the ATO 1 and 2 deposits, and we'll continue to incorporate that into our mine plan while constructing that phase 2. So that's very exciting. All these deposits remain open. We've only drilled down to about 350 to 400 meters vertical depth, so they still remain open, and we still have opportunity to still expand on our mining license and look for new deposits, hopefully satellite deposits, maybe both on oxides and sulfides. And we'll continue to use our cash flow to fund that exploration at the ATO mining license. Then, obviously, this is a big year for the Udamhundi, the UK license. It's something that hasn't had a lot of attention because we focused on bringing production online and generating cash flow. Now we can actually spend more time at the Udamhundi license. We'll start with some trenching in the spring to help de-risk some of the drilling, and then we'll drill probably at least 10,000 meters, 10 to 15,000 meters down there as well. Very exciting because that's a very highly prospective license that's been drilled all around, but we haven't had a chance to really focus on it. So it's going to be a good year for exploration on both properties.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots going on in that respect, and nice to be able to finally refocus some capital and some efforts into that as well. So at the moment, this is all kicking off presumably after the winter sort of months, and you said it was March when the restart happens.
Yeah, exactly. So exploration will probably kick off more like April, to be honest. It's still pretty cold. You're talking about minus 30, minus 40. So we don't drill from November till about end of March. So we'll kick off drilling again in April, while continuing to produce. So this is our first year that we're winter leaching through the winter. So we are in production through this winter, even in the cold weather. We're still producing probably 1,500 or 2,000 ounces in these winter months, and then production will pick up in April significantly, probably 4,000 to 5,000 ounces per month starting April, and we'll have exploration. So it's a really good story to have production, cash flow, expansion, and exploration. So it's a good timing, I think, with this uptick in the gold market.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very very timely indeed. Okay, excellent. And just for an update sort of on the situation on the ground there and sort of working in Mongolia and the environment, obviously we're coming out of those pandemic years with such a supply crunch, across materials, in terms of we're seeing a lot of backlogs at the assay labs. How have you found it? How's the situation working on the ground in Mongolia at your projects?
Yeah, so supply chain has been an issue in 2021 with the border closed with China because of COVID and their zero COVID policy. We've had to open up other supply chain channels to bring in reagents we need for processing. However, that same land border, we brought that crusher over, and we'll bring the additional equipment for phase 2 over. So that border actually has started opening up this year, thankfully. Right. We started opening in a few weeks, so it's a big deal for us. That'll help on the procurement side for current equipment, parts we need, chemicals, hopefully in the near future. But then the major equipment we're going to procure from China for our flotation circuit and other stuff for phase 2. So it's boding well. Finally, we're seeing that opening. Mongolia as a jurisdiction has only gotten better since we started this mine in operation in 2017. Rio Tinto finally consolidated Turquoise Hill just a few weeks ago. They're making a circa $8 billion further commitment in country.
And that's a psychological boost, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Just showing everyone that you have a super major like Rio is very comfortable with Mongolia and doubling down. In fact, the CEO of Rio at the Mines and Money, I think, event, a gala in November, said he's most excited about Mongolia out of all of his portfolio. So things are opening up. You're seeing majors like Zijin Mining also making investments. And we're kind of one of the guys who have a first mover advantage. So I think you're going to see a lot more larger companies looking to get into Mongolia, and hopefully through us.
Okay, why don't we just conclude for viewers who'd be interested to talk about the shareholder structure? Actually, you've got some very interesting strategic financiers backing this project as well. So give us an update there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, management and board actually own close to 20% of the company. We've been public for 4.5 years and have never sold a share. So we are highly aligned with our investors. We feel the pain in the markets here, and we're here to ride that big gain with them. So that alignment, I think, is very key in any business, and we have that alignment with our investors. We haven't raised equity in 2.5 years, and our last equity investment was done with Eric Sprott only at a price of $2.15, so almost double our current share price. He hasn't sold any shares, and in fact, in the last few months, he's been buying on market and has increased his position from about 10% of the company to 12%. So that's a big vote of confidence to have Eric, who is not buying many companies on market at all, actually. Great vote of confidence for him to continue to support, given his cost basis is almost double our current share price. You know, we also have Fidelity, who owns 6% of our company. Again, their cost basis is much higher than today, and they're supportive. So we have very supportive long-term backers and partners, and they understand the market. So having blue chip names like Eric and Fidelity, Elliott and Triple Flag, yeah, we have some really good support, and we're going to continue to grow that.
Yep, absolutely. Excellent. Well, Aneel, fantastic. Really interesting and exciting news to be covering off there. And it seems like, you know, you're going gangbusters in all directions for this. So we look forward to catching up again once things reopen again after the winter period to hear more from Steppe Gold.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.